how much room for error do we give people? Now, I understand that no one is perfect, but I do believe when you are paying for a service, the room for error should be really small. Because when you're paying for a service and you're paying for something to get done, the person who is the expert, the person who's the know-how, should, hey, what's going on? Should have their back end to a point where they are going through and working through and working through and working through and working through to remove as many errors and mistakes that can pop up. Hey, those who are just hopping in, I'm talking about room for error, right? And I'm talking about how we show up, one, but then how we work with other individuals. When there is, how much room do we give for error and mistakes? Keep in mind, no one is perfect. No human being is perfect. But I do believe that there is a level when you are paying for someone's expertise, someone's skill set, someone's craft, someone who is claiming to know, a company who is claiming to, this is what we do. How much room do we give for error and mistakes? And don't get me wrong, this is, we do it to other individuals, and that's why I want this to go two ways. I want us to also check our back end to make sure that we are not leaving so much room and space for error and mistakes, to where the error and mistakes that do pop up may be minute, may not affect the quality. So I do believe when it comes to, is there room for error, making sure that because we're not perfect, that the error and the mistakes that do surface do not affect the quality that is given. Narrow, love it, Monique, absolutely. And so there's times where, yeah, there's things that I've been a part of and I've done, and there was errors and mistakes, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. But there's also a learning lesson on how to diffuse this from happening again. Because if you keep hearing the same error and the same mistakes, it is not the people, it is the way that you operate. It could be your back end, it could be your organization. So let's clean up and get our stuff together. Let's get our stuff together. And right, not perfection, but excellence. Yes, thank you, TC. Not perfection, but excellence. So where the errors and the mistakes that do come from whatever it is, the expert, the skilled, the crafted, the know-how, the person who knows how to do what they do, it doesn't affect the quality on what is given. To where it's like, oh, I didn't even realize there was an error, that I didn't even realize that the shirt was aligned. So it is one thing when you miss a stitch, right? And let's look at tailoring and custom made outfits. It's one thing when you may miss an extra loop, but you can't miss a stitch because it may bust wide open everything else that was created, right? So we can't leave. Okay, we can, when it's custom and tailor made, you can, then you may have forgot to clip a string, but the string is not going to affect the quality of the shirt or the quality of the dress that's being made. It's just the string, like, oh, I forgot to clip the string at the bottom of your hem, or forgot to clip the string that was connected to where it doesn't mess with the quality. Some people are making errors and mistakes where it is affecting the quality that is being presented. And that is not the fault of the person. If you are paying for a service, yes, that part. If you are paying for a service, for a product, you deserve to have quality. Not perfection, but excellence. And if it's anything less than what you expect, you also have every right to say, listen, this was not up to quality. This wasn't up to standards. I need you to readjust this. You know how sometimes you go in a store and you can get the regular shirts, like for my boys, I'll get them the Lacoste t-shirts, right? And so the Lacoste t-shirts may be $40, but then they have the irregular ones. It's a little off. The regular ones is a little off. And you can get those for like $20. Don't charge me for excellence, but you're giving me lack of quality. Don't charge me and push and promote excellent quality and but excellence, but then give me a lack of quality, poor performance. Yes? So when we are providing products, like I said, if you're doing, just like the tailor, there's no way that the custom designed shirt can miss a stitch or a knot. What won't affect the quality of the shirt or the dress is a little stitch that you need to, is a little string that may be hanging, or a little, something over here, but nothing that is messing up the quality. Yes? We're looking for excellence, not perfection. We're looking for quality, not perfection, right? Quality, not perfection. So that's my message for you today. This is day 6 of my videos, and I want you to sit on that, because if you've received anything less than the quality that you deserve, you have every right to fight to make sure that it is right. Yes? And so go back. If you were promised a certain way that the product would be, go back. I remember I had to return a dress. I said, listen, you messed up. He said, well, what do you want me to do? I said, what I want you to do. That's not for me to come up with. That's for you. You're the expert in this. You're the person. This is what you do. I don't stitch a lick. I can't even stitch a button. Right? This is on you. So when someone is saying that this is their this is their craft, their skill set, if we are professing this is our craft, this is our skill set, it is our job to make sure that we put excellence first. We put quality first. Because if the quality is first, the errors and the mistakes will be this small that it doesn't even affect the performance. It doesn't even affect the presentation. We never want the lack of quality, the lack of excellence, the lack of paying attention to detail to affect the presentation and the performance of the work that we put in. You want, when they say your name, they know that they're getting top-notch quality. They know, for example, when they say, okay, we're booking Lucinda to speak for this event, they know the quality that they're going to get. I'm not going to shortchange them. Matter of fact, I'm going to over-deliver. Not only am I going to study, I'm going to be praying. Not only am I going to pray, I'm also going to connect with your people. I'm going to make sure they get what they came for when they show up, so that you get raving calls, that the person gets calls, and the person gets booked, and the person gets sponsored, right? And so the performance, I'm not going to give them a lack of quality, which means that I have to make sure that I'm taking care of of me, mind, body, and soul. But when it comes to also our delivery, right? There's things that I'm not perfect about. There's times where, I had a whole conference and it's like, oh my gosh, we didn't prepare for this, but I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson from one to the next, and to provide more quality. And I said, well, I understand that we missed the mark on this part, but did it affect when we have our what do you call those calls? I forgot. We have our group calls afterwards to kind of go through what worked, what didn't work, what we need to do. When we have our call, to kind of sit back and say, okay, how did this go? How did this training go? How did this workshop go? How did this conference go? How did Activate work out? All right, we missed the mark when it came here, but did it affect the presentation and the performance and the quality of Activate? Absolutely not. And so then it's like, all right, we can make these tweaks to make it even better. Will it ever be perfect? Absolutely not. So don't focus on being perfect. Don't get caught up in the perfection side. You get caught up in the perfection side, you procrastinate. But when you pay attention to details, and you add paying attention, right, debriefing calls, thank you. When you pay attention to details, and when coupled with the details, the love is in the details. When you pay attention to the details, coupled with excellence, coupled with passion, coupled with the capacity to make sure that you're able to deliver, the delivery and the timing, man, you got a good thing going. They won't even worry about the little strings hanging from what you missed out on. So this message is for all my service providers, my product creators. You know, focus. Remember, love is in the details, and you want to leave this much room for error and mistakes. Why? Because this much room can always grow. But if you start with this much room, the only thing you could do is just keep getting smaller and smaller to the point where you just are learning and perfecting and learning and operating in excellence and working through it. And now your name is great. We want our name to ring bells. Remember, love is in the details. And you want, when they say that they've worked with you, when they hired you, when they contracted you, when they booked you, that you pulled out all stops and you've done it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to over deliver and do extras that take away from you. But the added value is when you are producing at a level so great that even the smaller things they don't even recognize.